Okay, I'm ready, Stephen.
Okay, rolling.
Wait a minute, baby, I never meant to pull you away, or to make you feel like I'm holding you back. Wanted you to stand there, your fist held out in front of you, ready to fight like we were under attack. But you never looked back. No, you never looked back. Now I'm walking away. Look at you now, you can't find a word to say. Even if it all be a little too late. I'm walking, baby, I'm walking away.
Okay, so what we've set up, we have our tracks. We're mixing them on the console. We're sending it out from the computer to the console. Then it goes back in the computer, goes to the track, and then we hear through converters what the recording is. Because everybody's going to hear converters anyway. Whether you're mixing digital or analog, you're still, at some point, it goes digital domain and comes back to the analog domain. So we're going to mix through converters. And this is what I do when we mix on the console. We literally just record a stereo track of the mix.
Wait a minute, baby, I never meant to pull you away, or to make you feel like I'm holding you back. Wanted you to stand there, your fist held out in front of you, ready to fight like we were under attack. But you never.
I've had it worse before. I've had it far worse than this, 'cause I've always wanted more of everything I can't resist. Oh, more of everything I can't resist. And on my darkest night, I can still hear your voice. If this is my demise, at least I can say I had a choice. At least I can say I had a choice. Whoa, now I'm wishing I went a different way, and I'm missing things she used to say, reminiscing every single day while I'm listening to the songs we used to play. Listening to the songs we used to play. I'm fading to the darkest shade of gray. Darkest shade.
I also work on the indie television show Spotlight on Music, which is on Heritage TV out of Norton, Virginia. I do a lot of the episodes. I don't do all of them. Some of them they take a board feed from wherever they're at, but the episodes I work on, we go out and we multi-track record, and then I bring it back in the studio and mix it here on the console or digitally mix it. And that's what I can show you. A mix in progress of Tom's Handgun, and I'll give you a clip of one of the songs that we're working on for their episode of the show.
Okay,
If you want to hear that.
let's do.
So let me turn on the cymbals, the toms, the kick drum, the snare drum, the lead vocal, the bass guitar. Let me just see what I have here. I don't have everything on. There's everything. We'll start it over. So I think we recorded this February 28th, Tom's Handgun Live. And the mix is being done on the console.
Say there ain't no haunted places, just haunted people walking around. You know I used not to believe it, but nowadays no ghost, I'm about to drown. Most of my days here alone, dwelling on the past and all that's gone.
So the outboard you see lit up, most of that is what's being used for this mix. Except these guys, which we used on Julie.
Lord, but it's just a memory. She's been gone many years now. No matter on this earth where I travel, she's always right there when I lay down.
Adjustment there.
Every time I close my eyes and lay down.
Now, what does this little machine here do?
This is my monitor controller. This lets me control the two sets of monitors. See, it lets me dim, it lets me attenuate. So if I have a level set for reference, I can quickly listen low, and then it lets me take my mix and go to mono. So it's actually mono now. You know, when you mix in mono, you hear phase problems more readily than you do in stereo. So see, it just kind of opens up. And if you think you have a phase problem, you know, I can even flip the polarity of one channel. That's why it sounds funny now. Now I don't have the other sets of speakers on, but this lets me switch between top speakers, which are second opinion speakers, and then the Adams, which are my main big speakers. And it lets me also, you know, turn the subwoofer on and off. Because most people, you can be listening on to the TV show, they can listen on flat panels. I'm not gonna do this stuff. So I still got to make sure it sounds good, even if you don't have really good low-end reproduction. And that's a song Toby wrote called Haunted People. And it, I don't know, it's just one of those songs that strikes a chord with you. I really like the song. There's editing. We can talk about mixing. There's editing, or let's not call it a track preparation. You get the tracks ready. You look for pops, clicks, noises, things that are going to detract. And if there's pops or clicks, we have technology to remove pops and clicks. You look for things like noises, and then you do things like EQ and compression, like dynamics processing, and does it need some EQ? You know, it's like, let's see here. Let me go over to the board, because that's the other thing this lets me do. This lets me listen to, I can work without the board and just work in the computer, so it lets me monitor that way or monitor the board. So I have the ability to switch around and switch speakers. But if we're playing back a track, let's do the guitar. I can listen to the guitar and be like, do I need to do anything to it? And I think I did do a little EQ, so I don't know if you'll hear the difference, but that's without. That's with. I think basically what I was doing it's just making a little space for his vocal to come through. So just a little dip in the upper mid-range of the guitar to make some room for his vocal.
Spend most of my days here alone, dwelling on the past and all.
And this is live.
So
there's his track you can hear. And this is on stage at stage volume.
Upstairs, she starts moving
You know,
around.
come over and cymbal mics.
Many years now.
Bass guitar's harder to hear, but they're still there.
She's always right.
There's bleed, but it's all about that mic placement. It's all get that mic placed
If I
right.
could just
It's about like shooting. The actual mixing is about this level balancing. That's the mixing. Shaping the sound is kind of like something you do prior to mixing or while you're mixing to help things fit together better or to bring out sounds. So, you know, I have three main tools in the studio, and that's the fader, number one thing, the fader, EQ, and then dynamics. That's the third thing. The three main things. Volume, you know, your level, your balance, shaping of the sound, and dynamics, which also shapes the sound.
And your board is analog.
Yes. This is a 1998 Soundcraft
On
Ghost
it, people walk
dual
around.
inline 32 channel console. I bought it from a
Thank you.
business in Ackworth, Georgia,
It's gonna be on the new album. Be looking for it.
and it took me 3 months to restore it. It's over 850 capacitors were replaced. Numerous op amps were replaced and or upgraded. The mix bus was upgraded. I don't think you can actually overdrive the mix bus, that it has so much headroom. And you know, I can work without almost everything you see here. I can actually do it all with the console and just get rid of all the outboard gear. You can. I can do it with plugins. I use Universal Audio plugins. You can do it all in the box, but the sound, to me, there's something about it's like the difference between talk about it in older terms. It's like the difference between watching something shot on VHS, like video, versus a filmmaker making a film with film, which I know nowadays almost nobody uses film.
True.
But it still looks like a motion picture. But it's that contrast, that the digital to me just there's something. There's a little bit of something still missing. It's really good now. I'm probably the happiest I've ever been with the digital technology. You know, like this program, it actually does 64-bit math, 64-bit floating point math, and I think it sounds great.
It does sound great.
But it's only been in the last couple of years that I've accepted digital as sounding good. I go back and listen to stuff I mixed 15 years ago, and it's like, ugh, it's digital. It's like there's just, I don't know, there's just something not there that should be there.
I'm sitting here with Stephen Schoenecker. He's a local music producer, recorder. Is that correct?
Producer, recording engineer.
Engineer. And we're sitting here in the studio in Bristol, Tennessee. And how did you get started in the music industry?
I got started, well, when I was a kid, you know, I had a cassette recorder. I was always recording stuff. But the way I got to where I'm at now was actually an interest in digital recording. around 1988, around 1988 in that era. We called them microcomputers back then, but I was experimenting with digital recording then, and I was writing software, and I worked for a startup company, and I actually wrote a digital audio editor for a proprietary computer system they were developing in 1990. And I'd always had an interest in playing music. I played guitar. Like I said, recording has always been a thing. And doing that just kind of ignited a chain reaction of where I'm at today.
Okay. To be a music producer, do you need to be able to play and read music?
There are lots of music producers and engineers that can't do either. But I do believe you should be able to play an instrument so you understand what the people you're doing. You have that feel of, hey, this is a guitar, this is a bass, this is a drum set. So I actually play a little bit of everything. Not very good at it. I enjoy it, but I started out playing trombone in elementary school. But and I used to be able to read music, but I recently read the book Al Schmidt wrote, and don't remember exactly, but I know he can follow an arrangement, but I'm not sure he can actually read the music. And he is a significantly famous recording engineer. But I think it helps if you play an instrument, so you have the artist's perspective.
And to do what you do, did you have any specialized training?
I went to school forever.
So you take college courses or?
Not in this. No. The background for this, again, comes from that project in writing software to do recording and editing of digital audio. So, it's like, well, this is a console. This is what a console does, Because in order to write software to do something, you kind of got to know, what does it do? And I just got the bug. It's like, oh, this is cool. I mean, I love music. And
So if a young teenager, they say they want to do this for a living, so is there college courses for this today?
There are. Northeast State has their sound and lighting program, which I think's great. MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University, has their recording program, and I think Belmont University has a program as well in Nashville.
That's great.
But with any of those, I mean, you do need to go out and get your hands wet. You do need to go out and
Hands-on training, perhaps.
hands-on and go out and set with someone and watch them work. There is something to be said about being an apprentice or an intern and watching what someone who's more experienced, what they do. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I would love to sit in on a session with somebody like Al Schmidt, or who am I thinking of? He recorded Michael Jackson, Bruce Sweeten. I think that would be awesome. They just, you learn from what other people do, get inspired.
What type of music do you listen to?
Oh, that's a loaded question. What music don't I listen to is easier to answer.
So what don't you listen to?
I don't listen to a lot of rap. Not my thing. I listen to everything from classical music to country music to, Viking metal.
Wow.
So, I mean, if you're talking band-wise, the last couple of years we've been listening to quite a bit of Amon Amarth. That's Viking metal. But then we can go from that and go on YouTube and look at play Sister Rosetta Tharpe or Ray Charles. I'm actually a big Ray Charles fan. I'm a Beatles fan, Led Zeppelin, Depeche Mode. Who's somebody more recent? KT Tunstall. Maisie Starr. I mean, I love music.
And have you produced music prior to the digital age, MP3s?
Yes. I started out recording on tape. Even though I did the early project with the proprietary computer system and experimented in the early days of digital recording, I still record it on tape. So I record on 2 8-track tape machines once upon a time.
How do you approach the sensitive task of discussing changes and rearrangements with artists?
Well, if I'm producing, then we have a report, and we can discuss things like that. Generally, I'm not producing. Or if I am producing, I'm produce light-handed, or it's not an overt thing. I try to bring the best out with what I consider what I do producing. I try to get the artist to be their best. But you're talking hardcore producing, like, oh, well, we need to change this arrangement and it'll be more appealing. I don't do a lot of that. But I do feel like if there's something going on, then, like, hey, I need to point it out.
Right.
But that's on a different level of producing.
What could a great sounding recording do for an artist's career?
It can do nothing. You didn't expect that. It can do nothing because if the song isn't good, it doesn't matter. You can take a kid that bought a tape recorder in a thrift shop and they're sitting in their bedroom with their acoustic guitar and they'll sing a great song. That's all that matters. It's the song. If the song's great, it will transcend the technology. But in the world we live in, you take a really great song with a great recording and you'll get more people's attention, in my opinion. Because they'll be like, oh, it just doesn't sound good, even though it's a great song. I mean, think about early 20th century music. There's tons of early 20th century music that's great, but the recordings aren't. They don't have fidelity. They don't sound awesome, but the music's awesome. And that's what matters. At least, in my opinion, that's what matters.
When you book an artist to record an album, what does the artist need to do before coming to the studio?
Be prepared. Song arrangements should be established. Instruments need to be in good condition, like fresh guitar strings, but don't put them on the night before. Intonation, make sure that's well. Drummers, if drummers are bringing in a drum set, hey, are your heads in sufficient shape? Are they going to have the tone you want for recording? So drums need new heads, things like that. But rehearse. I'd say rehearse, be prepared, know your arrangements, know what you want to do when you get here. That's more of the modern approach to recording, that you know what you want to do when you get there. Occasionally I do have artists come in and they finish writing their albums with me. But it's more of the former than the latter.
Right. On day one in a studio, what's the first thing that happens?
First thing that happens, we set everything up. So if the band, if I'm recording a rock band, they bring their drums. They might use the house drums. But if they bring the drums, in fact, I might invite the drummer to come the night before to set his drums up so that they can acclimate to being here. So a rock band, we set the drums up. That's usually where I start because that's going to have the most microphones set up. And then we'll do bass, guitar, put the singer in the booth, that kind of thing.
Do bands record their music at the same time in the same room, or do they record separately? Like
Both.
both.
Depends on the band. I like to do recordings where everybody plays at the same time. I feel like there's more energy and people play off each other. And at least that's how most recordings I do start live. We can record to a click track, and we can record scratch tracks. So I've had projects, the whole band records live, but then other than the drums, everything's overdubbed. And it's whatever process. There's no hard, rigid process. This is how it's done. It's like what we did today. We can record entirely live, or we can build it up piece by piece. Drums, bass, rhythm guitar, lead vocal, backing vocal. We can layer and do that as separate processes. Of course, that takes more time.
Do you record any other audio besides music?
Yes. I go out and record nature sounds.
Wow.
So I did an album with Sam Rasnick and his son Ryan Rasnick. The album's called Show Yourself. I'd recorded some outdoor sounds like the ebbing and flowing of a creek and birds and dogs barking. And on that, what I'm thinking, I'll let you hear it if you want to hear it. Wind chimes. They brought wind chimes in the studio and we recorded those. So
Wow.
we get into things like that. Now that's recording, but I also create soundscapes or sound textures for things, which you're making me think of Sandra Parker's album Call the Fairy. I did some of the soundscape work on that with samples. So that's out of the norm of just recording a band. You kind of become part of the creative process on things like, hey, we can do this, or I'm asked to do this because Sam's like, hey, we want to create this kind of feel. I want to take this sound and I want to do things to this sound and create this atmosphere. So, and a lot of times they're created, they're recorded, but it's a creative process, and we re-record the results. So,
Okay. What is your opinion on the music industry today versus 25 years ago?
it's horrible. It really is. With the internet, everything post Napster, a lot of people feel that music's free, that you just go online and download it, and and that's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad because that means artists don't get paid, and if they're not getting paid, then how can they afford studio time? That question spans not just MP3s and downloading, but the technology is more available to people, and I would hope with it being available that more people would be making great albums, but I don't think they are. You can be a great recording engineer or a great performer. I'm not sure. There's only a handful of people who did both well, and I still think they were more on one side. So, like myself personally, the deeper I got into recording, the less music I played. So I picked my guitar up, I play for my daughter, I play for my own enjoyment, but I'm not in a band anymore. I don't go out and play shows because I do this more. It's kind of like becoming part of the band you're working with when you're recording.
I think that you already know. Oh Lord, I seem to twist Like my mother, I will just walk out the door. I don't know how to love and not lose. Standing still and losing form. Knowledge can't help anymore. How I love you so much more. Kiss me goodbye at your door. Wait a minute, baby, I never meant to pull you away or to make you feel like I'm holding you back. I wanted you to stand there, your fist held out in front of you, ready to fight like we were under attack. But you never looked back. No, you never looked back. Now I'm walking away. Look at you now, you can't find a word to say. Even if you did, it would all be a little too late. I'm walking, baby, I'm walking away. Wait a minute, baby, now tell me, was it easy to let me go? I think you should know it was hard as hell on me. After all is said and done, tell the truth, you were the one who really wanted to be free. Now I'm walking away. Look at you now, you can't find a word to say. Even if you did, it would all be a little too late. I'm walking, baby, I'm walking away.
last. Oh well, it never seemed to last. Whoa, now I'm wishing I went a different way, and I'm missing things she used to say, reminiscing every single day while I'm listening to the songs we used to play. Listening to the songs we used to play, fading to the darkest shade of gray, the darkest shade of gray.